what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoyed our reaction to what Brian Kelly had to say. He talked about Mizzou looking real good on paper, or not, he didn't say on paper, right? But Mizzou, just how good they've been this year. I mean, top rush defense in the SEC, one of the most explosive offenses in the SEC. Brady Cook just set the record for most consecutive passes without an interception. He's currently the second highest rated quarterback in the SEC. Luther Burden is a problem, and obviously it all comes at a time in which your defense is an even bigger problem. And you got to go to Como for an undefeated matchup. Missouri's now ranked. It's going to be as hyped of an environment and as tough of a challenge as you will ever find in Mizzou. And we all know what happened last time you went to Mizzou. You ended up losing that game. So make no mistake, this is going to be a very tough game for LSU. And he would go on to say, look, man, nobody kind of saying, look, this is about the process. Trust the process. We have it. We've refined it over years. We have it in place so that you don't get too high on the wins and you don't get too low on the losses. You just continue to work and continue to try and get better. Jake, where is your trust in the process right now?
Oh, well, let's hope that it's refined. Let's hope that it's working the way that it's supposed to, because you're coming off a very disappointing loss. I mean, actually, last time you were in Como, you had a loss kind of like you had last week. Remember, the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Yep.
Miles Brennan's doing everything he can to score as many points as he can, and you fall just short there at the goal line. But this is going to be a tough trip, T. Missouri's the most experienced team in the SEC. They bring back the most experience. In fact, I think they were 8th coming into the year overall across the country. And remember, they had moments last year. Now, they didn't finish some of those moments, but they played Georgia as well as anybody not named Ohio State.
Yep.
So they certainly had times last year. That game was in Como. You mentioned the quarterback. I mean, this is a team that is much improved. Now Eli Drinkwitz doesn't call plays. He's a true CEO. Blake Baker, we know him and what he's doing on defense. And I was just looking at some of the analytics before. I thought you'd like that. Tackling percentage as far as amount of tackles that they brought back this year. LSU, 42.4%, 115th in the country. Missouri, 7th in the country at 78%. Big play defense, so sacks, turnovers, tackle for losses, those things. What did you bring back? Missouri, 67%, best for 33rd in the country. LSU, 52%, 82nd in the country. So this is a very veteran team. This is a team that brought back 16 starters, and it's a team last year that felt like, they were in that spot where they weren't quite there yet, but they were close.
Yeah.
They get blown out by Kansas State a year ago, 42-10. Kansas State runs the football all over them. They come back this year. They avenged that loss, right? And so, you're starting to see this Missouri team grow. You're not going to go there, roll the helmet out because it says LSU, and beat Missouri. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
They're ranked for a reason. It's because they're an older veteran team that has figured out exactly who they want to be. So it's going to be a tough matchup. You hope the process is working, because you're not going to be able to just win this game off just sheer talent. And in years past, if you played Missouri, in fact, they've played Missouri in the past where you just went off talent. That's not going to be the case here.
Well, and then there's this. This comes from my guy SEC Mike, who shout out SEC Mike, man. He hosts the I'll get it for you a second, his pod, but him and this dude Cousin Shane hosts an SEC pod. Mike started on Twitter just a couple years ago, posting analytics and stuff. He's now built quite the following, and we've actually been working together on Rivals since AJ McCarry signed with the Bengals. I was like, dude, let's give Mike a call, and it's been a lot of fun. He's got some great insight. You can follow him at Michael W. Bratton, SEC Mike on Twitter. But so he takes every week, he looks at the SEC, and he looks at, what are the biggest mismatches from the upcoming weekend in terms of EPA, expected points added, right? Where somebody's good, somebody's bad. Missouri's offense right now, Jake, number 18 in the and all you need to know about EPA, you don't need to understand it, but all you need to know is that it's just a single number that people have developed to rank how good you are on a play-to-play basis, right? So every play. Missouri's offense right now, number 18 in the entire country. LSU's defense, 130. Now, flip it, maybe to the tune of last week as well. LSU's pass offense, number 3 in the entire country. Missouri's defense, pass defense, 107. Mizzou pass offense, 7th in the country. Still can't believe how good Brady Cook's been this year. LSU pass defense, 130 in the country. So as you can see, Jake, this is going to be now. Mizzou's very good against the run, and so that would be a difference from Ole Miss. And I'm interested to dive into Mizzou film tonight, probably the Kansas State film, watch some other stuff, figure out how we feel about that front. But it looks like another week, Jake, of strength on strength, strength on weakness and strength on weakness for both teams.
It does. So you hear some of those numbers, it makes you even more nervous, maybe so. But I still think LSU can be successful running the football. I do. Like, after what I saw last week, I mean, they have got some things figured out. They just didn't have the ability to really commit to it. Maybe they could have a little bit more when they were up 9, but they didn't have the ability to commit to the run, say, hey, you know what, this is what we're going to do all game, which felt like it was some of the game plan for LSU coming in, but I still think they can be successful. When we start talking about some of the big strengths for LSU, certainly the passing game is going to be the first thing that we talk about, but also the offensive line and the push that they're getting.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're awesome.
They're creating space for these running backs, and the way Logan Diggs is playing right now, there's no thought process, and I mean that in a good way. He sees a gap, he takes it, he goes full speed, and he's worried about getting 8 to 12. So many times running backs worry about getting 80 and not 8.
Yeah.
And if you have an opportunity to get 8 right there and you're not looking for 80, I promise you, it sounds crazy, you'll be way more successful because a guy like Logan Diggs starts to lean on you. You're like, man, every time he touches it, it's a first down, and he's running over me every single time. Then that's when the 80-yard run comes. It happens organically. So I still think, even with all of the analytics right there, that they can get that done. They can still run the football.
Yeah, and again, nothing. I'm sure LSU's rush offense ranks high, and I'm sure Missouri's rush defense ranks high. But again, this wasn't even supposed to be a specific LSU-Mizzou thing here. This is just looking at what are the biggest mismatches in the conference this weekend.
Yeah.
And it just happens that 3 of them are in this game they're going to witness.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes. I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.